Alcatraz Penitentiary, The Rock. There is no American prison more infamous, and no group of inmates more notorious.
And on top of that, there are also ghost stories from inside the prison, and that's what we're gonna be talking about today. Hey guys, I'm Courtney McGinley, and welcome back to the most amazing top 5. Let's jump right into our list of the top 5 scary ghost stories inside Alcatraz Prison. Starting off at our number 5 spot, Warden Johnston. James A. Johnston was the first and longest serving warden at Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary. He was warden from 1934 until he retired in 1948. He was said to be extremely strict and a devout reformist who imposed a number of rules upon the prison, including a strict code of silence, which led him to be named the Golden Rule Warden. One day, the warden was showing some of his guests from out of town around the prison. According to the story, the warden and his group heard someone sobbing from inside the prison walls. And as you might remember, I just said that the warden had a strict code of silence. When he was heading in the direction of where the sobbing was coming from, a cold wind whisked past him. He never could explain why this happened, and he never did find out who was sobbing. And at number 4, cell blocks A, B, and C. Visitors who have gone to cell blocks A, B, and C claim they have heard crying and moaning. A visiting psychic also once wrote that while in block C, he encountered a disruptive spirit named Butcher. Prison records also show that another inmate in block C murdered Abby Meldowitz in the laundry room. Abby was a mob hitman, and guess what his nickname was? That's right, Butcher. Also, another incident in cell block C took place on September 5th, 1984, when a ranger spent the night alone on the island and was awakened by a heavy door swinging in C block. This also happened to be the cell where the Butcher's killer stayed. At number 3, investigations. There have been numerous paranormal investigations that have taken place in this prison. Psychics such as Annette Martin and Jan Borgen have tried to contact spirits at Alcatraz. Jan Borgen actually paired up with a skeptical morning radio news anchor named Ted Wigan, and the two spent the night there. Ted was sure they wouldn't find anything. They fell asleep, and then around 3 a.m. in the utility corridor, a place where 3 inmates were shot dead back in 1946 during the Battle of Alcatraz, Ted said he got a tremendous feeling of anger and felt an evil presence lying on the floor at the place where the men died. He began to swear and said that he felt strong compulsion to fire a gun at people. Then later in 1984, another paranormal investigator named Michael Curry claimed that he visited the prison and in a trance had spoken to the spirit of a man who told him he had been beaten and had his legs broken and was then placed in solitary confinement. Coming at number 2, cell 14D. One of the cells in the hole is believed to be very active with spirits, and it's said to be the most haunted cell in the prison. During tours, people tend to get a really eerie vibe while in that area. Even employees of the tour company have claimed to feel what they can only describe as a raw coldness in that section of the former prison. Others have even said they feel a sense of insanity as they approach the cell. Tales have actually been told about something that happened there in the 1940s. Apparently, one time when a prisoner was locked in cell 14D, they claimed throughout the night that a creature with glowing eyes was in there with him and that he was going to kill him. The next day, the guards went to the cell to check on him, and they found him strangled to death in his cell. To this day, no one has claimed responsibility for the convict's death. The next day, the guards were doing head counts, and they ended up counting one too many prisoners. When looking back through the papers, they realized they counted the prisoner that had just passed away. Some of the guards claimed to have seen him in the lineup with other inmates, but only for a second before he vanished. Yeah, if I was those guards, I would be terrified. I would feel like this guy was coming back with a vengeance. At number 1, Al Capone. Al Capone was one of the most notable prisoners of Alcatraz. Capone was transferred to Alcatraz as one of the first prisoners of the new federal prison. While in prison, Capone's health was quickly declining. He had contracted a form of syphilis when he was younger, and it began to take over his brain. By 1938, he was spending all of his time at the prison, either in the hospital or the shower room. While his health was declining, he decided to take up playing the banjo. He developed a fear that he would be killed if he spent his recreational time in the prison yard, so he received permission to spend his free time practicing his banjo in the shower room. He liked it in there as the acoustics were better. Soon enough, his health got even worse, and he was transferred out of Alcatraz to the California Federal Correction Institution at Terminal Island. He was patrolled shortly after and ended up passing away in 1947 from cardiac arrest. However, in the recent years, a park ranger claimed he heard banjo music coming from the shower room. He was unfamiliar with the deep history of Alcatraz, so he documented this event. And oddly enough, other visitors and employees have reported hearing the sound of a banjo coming from the prison walls. Alright, there you guys have it. That's our list of the top 5 ghost stories inside Alcatraz Prison. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to leave your questions and comments down below, as I will be answering them. Also, don't forget to show us some love by giving this video a big thumbs up and subscribing to our awesome channel. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.